Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Dungeons and Dragons. We're talking about Dragonlance Shadow of the Dragon Queen. We are in Chapter 5, and today what we're going to talk about is when the player characters arrive at Wrecker's Edge, right? They arrive at the beginning of the Northern Wastes, right? So the player characters have left Calamon. They've come across Calamon Bay, and they arrive at Wrecker's Edge, right? And when they arrive here, they meet Dalamar, a Silvanesti elf, an elf mage. Okay. Now, what's interesting, and Dalamar is here in the Northern Wastes, and he is researching. He kind of plays it a little coy, like what they're researching for. But the player characters find that he is trying to find the City of Lost Names, right? And Dalamar is there with his leader, Zhelsuel. Okay, now Dalamar is a Silvanesti elf mage, and he is specifically open to outsiders. So the player characters are outsiders. The odds are that they're certainly not all elf mages, right? Just by the numbers, they're going to have, your player character group's probably going to have, a Dragonborn in there, a Harengon in there, a Turtle in there, a human in there, somebody who's, a Dermanesti, elf. But the odds that they're a Silvanesti elf are low, right? But Dalamar is open. He is open to these outsiders, and he has, and he deals with the player characters, right, who are there with knight in training Darrett, right? And essentially there's a little bit of back and forth. There's some, playing coy, but it comes out that he is searching for the City of Lost Names, right? And the player characters, of course, are searching for the City of Lost Names. However, Dalamar is not going to be able to find the City of Lost Names, and the reason why is Dalamar knows he's searching for the City of Lost Names in the wrong place. Why is he searching in the wrong place? Well, he has a Silvanesti elf mage leader named Zhelsuel. So Dalamar works for Zhelsuel, and Zhelsuel is a repugnant, prejudiced elf, right, who is not willing to deal with outsiders, right? And his ignorance about kindness and tolerance spreads to his ignorance about other things, right? So he's looking for the City of Lost Names in the wrong place. And Dalamar knows that Zhelsuel is looking in the wrong place and wasting everybody's time, right? So Dalamar begins to work with the player characters, and he says, listen, it's going to be here, here, or here, right? And gives them specific sites farther north. And he says, you guys go search these sites, right, for signs of the City of Lost Names, and then come back to me with the report of your research in these specific locations, right? And so the player characters do this. They go up, they research these sites that Dalamar has sent them to, and it pays off for both of them, right? So Dalamar gets the information, processes the information, and then gives the location of the City of Lost Names to the player characters and says, this is it. It's right here. You can go there, right? And the reason why he does this is he's trapped, right? Dalamar cannot actually find the City of Lost Names because his leader is too ignorant, too stubborn to do what's actually necessary to find the information. His unwillingness to collaborate, his unwillingness to show kindness and tolerance and work with others limit him, right? And so, of course, this is a message from Hasbro. Hasbro is saying, hey, prejudice is repugnant, right? And, we just got out of 4 years of, President Trump, who is almost inarguably probably the most prejudiced president we've ever had in this country, by far, right? He's a horrible, horrible human being, right? And it was shameful that we had him as our president and we allowed this repugnant, prejudiced person to lead us, right? Now, what's interesting is where life, a lot of times, there's a lot of wisdom you'll find in Dungeons & Dragons. And Hasbro's trying to give this moral lesson, right? Like saying, if you're prejudiced, you're not going to do a lot. Now, what's a little harsh to realize, and what's like where IRL does not match Dungeons and Dragons is Trump, that repugnant, prejudiced dude, got a ton of stuff done in America. And this new Biden, right, who is arguably, well, I don't think Biden has 1/10 the prejudice that that President Trump had, right? He was just a super prejudiced dude, like, and his lack of love and his lack of kindness and tolerance for all Americans made prejudice spread throughout America like a virus, right? It was really bad, right? But Biden has done such a horrible job, and we're paying such a terrible price for his cowardice that I can't believe it, but Biden has made me long for the days of our prejudiced president, Trump. So that's a hard, like, I would really love to agree with F. Wesley Schneider and say prejudiced people can't accomplish anything, but Trump accomplished more in a month. Trump accomplished more in his first 100 days than Biden has in like 2 years, right? And the reality is, where we are with President Biden is he's not super prejudiced, right? But he's worse than useless, right? And so this is a point where what we learn from Dungeons and Dragons really doesn't match with life, right? And there are harsh lessons sometimes, which means we need to think harder, right? But F. Wesley Snyder is really crushing it with Dragonlance, Shadow of the Dragon Queen. And I love this, hey, Dalamar, open and not prejudiced, able to accomplish the goal, able to quest and find the city of lost names. Zhelsuel, right? Repugnant, prejudiced dude, not able to get anything done, right? And I think we want to believe that's true in life. We just had a harsh lesson that that's not quite true, right? And so we need to think further, right? How does that match? What do we do next, right? How do we, because a lot of times I feel like D&D shows the truth of it, right? And it shows the true shape of the world, right? When you look at D&D canons, the way they're constructed, and you have authors who are bringing that Gary Gygax energy, that think deeper energy, right? That wisdom energy, that philosophy, right? It matches, but sometimes it doesn't, right? And so, and at that point, we need to dig a little bit deeper, look at the IRL, look at D&D, see how they mix, and determine why that mismatch is there. So we got a little bit of homework on this one. Every word of that is my humble opinion. What's important is when I get to hear your humble opinion. When you get in the comments, send your traffic. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.